Hey guys, happy Saturday. Thanks for stopping by for another episode here at All I See Is W, where we talk about stocks, Bitcoin, and finance. In today's video, I'd like to share with you the latest updates with Bitcoin. We'll also be doing technical analysis of Bitcoin. How high can Bitcoin price action go in the year 2025? We'll also be going deep dive technical analysis of strategy MSTR as well as the big three Bitcoin miners, that is Mara, RIOT, and CleanSpark. We'll go through the latest updates as well as me sharing with you my price predictions for all five. So if you're new to this channel, I would really appreciate you hitting the like, subscribing for more related content. Let's begin, guys. Let's first start off with a post from Plan B. So he's saying Bitcoin new all-time high as predicted. So we're looking at the Bitcoin price along with RSI moving average, realized price, and Plan B's stock to flow model. So one of the key things I want to point out is for every event, we tend to see red dots forming. So where we are right now, we see yellow dots. Anytime when it gets more towards that orange and red dots, that's when you can see on this legend over here on the right, the relative strength starts ramping up. I really do see that Bitcoin is projected to have RSI above 85, 90 plus, but we're not even there yet. We're around like that 70, 75 range. So it's until we get those red dots, that's where Bitcoin price I'm forecasting. We're going to get somewhere to 200,000 in the year 2025. HODL 15 posts US Bitcoin ETS bought 23,610 Bitcoins this week. Only 3,150 were mined. In fact, there's about 450 Bitcoins mined every day. Right now, BlackRock continues to buy Bitcoin. Public companies, in fact, just year to date, 2025, there's over 250,000 Bitcoins purchased while there is only 20,000 Bitcoins mined. Just do the math. There's not enough Bitcoin to go around. And eventually, over a long term course, you're going to be paying more. So Bitcoin price will continue to ramp up. Bitcoin surpasses Amazon to become the fifth largest asset in the world. So about 2 days ago, Bitcoin bypassed Google and then now bypassing like one of the biggest companies out there, transforming how we look at online shopping, Amazon. Well, at one point, Bitcoin is going to bypass gold as the top asset class in the entire world. I posted today, just with an announcement with, James Wynn. We heard about James Wynn. I mean, this guy has been, investing in Bitcoin, but he recently has been taking more like 40x leverage plays. In fact, he shorted Bitcoin during the run up. But the more of the story is, greed, human desire for wanting more can overtake your decision making. I really hope that he's able to bounce back after reflecting on this liquidation event. So, he in fact deactivated his X account. So I hope that James Wynn is able to, just rebuild himself, going from like $100 million with Bitcoin gains and then trying to, double that or even 10x that to get to the billions. But, now his account only at 10,000 from 100 million. So more of the story is, don't always make decisions and kind of just understand where is your greed tolerance. Trend Spider posts, my body is ready, MSTR. So just look at this visual. I mean, just look at this formation. What is this? This is a cup and handle. I mean, you draw other lines, technicals. You see an inverse head and shoulder, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, cup and handle formation. We'll go through more technical analysis, but this is a prime recipe for a breakout. It's been coiling for so long, and we're going to see strategy have a nice run up in its share price. Hope posts, about Mara. So let's read this. There have been three major weekly breakouts for Bitcoin over the past 2 years. Each time Mara followed with a strong move higher. I've highlighted below how Mara reacted during each of those breakout moments. So let's take a look. So, you see Mara breaking out, during this run up, late 2024, then early January ran up, and then November. I'm sorry, this is 2023 event. And then, during the Trump announcement, Mara ran up as well. And then it's just been bleeding out for so long. So relative strength has just been going down. MACD's been going down. But because we've had this long duration gap, I really do believe that, yes, history will repeat itself as Bitcoin runs up. Mara's going to have a nice run up as well. CryptoKaleo, he posts, I mean, he's a big time believer of Riot platforms. He's saying still just a matter of time before Riot explodes above this channel. Trust the process. So look at this. I mean, this is a long consolidation channel, long-term perspective, but he's saying buying anything in this channel is free money. Why? Because Riot is going to break out. I mean, he has calls all the way to like, September, January 2026, $35 calls, put that into perspective. He's bullish that, Riot can make a huge run up like GameStop, like what he's saying. Nicholas posts about CleanSpark, so let's read what he's saying. So CleanSpark, don't think I'd be crazy at all to see CLSK hit $50 to $91 in this cycle. So just look at this visual. So he has it out to like towards beginning of 2026 where it can potentially run up in this green zone, above 50 to 90. So very bullish. And let's look at the technicals. We're looking at Bitcoin on the daily chart. We're continuing to see Bitcoin climb up. This is sunshine and rainbows, continues to hover above the Ichimoku cloud, sting like a bee. It's good that we're above this cloud. We don't want to be below this cloud. We were, below that cloud for quite some time when Bitcoin consolidated for many months, and now it's breaking out to, over 117,000. This is a good thing. As we look at the RSI, we don't want RSI to shoot up too high. Traditional finance, you have RSI around 30 to 70, but with crypto, it's different. You can add a plus 15 to that. So, it's not even broken out to 85 yet. So, I don't think that we're going to see RSI like shoot up unless, let's say, Bitcoin runs up to like 130, 140,000. We might see RSI get to like 80. But I really do feel like we're going to have an RSI run up to like 90, 95 plus at one point in the year 2025. And once that does happen, we get those red dots with Plan B's chart, and Bitcoin's going to get to like 150 in Q3 and 200,000 in before the end of the year. With Bitcoin expected to break out in the year 2025, I mean, 75% Poly market forecast is that we're going to reach 120,000. So we're not too far away, a few percentage points away. But just look at this beauty. I mean, look at MSTR. I mean, you can already see a cup and handle forming. You can see, so much going on. I mean, you see a reversal where it's been just consolidating down. I've been drawing, the bull flag breakout, which we've already seen happen, and now the reversal, higher highs, it's ascending up. That's a good thing. And we're also seeing relative strength increase. MACD, we're seeing those histograms formation. And 2025, we're going to see MSTR get above $1,000. Mark this because we're going to be getting it. Let's take a look at Mara's technical. So we see this big downturn. I mean, going from like $30 to like, 980. I mean, that's a big time drop. That's like 70, 80%. Well, where there's volatility with these type of plays, there's potential for, big run-ups as well. And we're beginning to see some, light at the end of the tunnel with, Mara's price going up. And like with the, the X post about Mara, with Bitcoin breaking out, we may very well see Mara, get into the 20s, starting next week. I wouldn't be surprised if it, it starts breaking into the low 20s, and then July, we may very well get to like that $26. But let's get here first before we start mapping out what the next forecast would be. But overall, all in all, it's not a matter of if, but a matter of when we're going to get to that $30 range, which I think can be coming very soon. And who knows, a squeeze may happen, and these OG miners can just make big time run-ups. So let's take a look at Riot platform. So Kaleo is big on Riot with call options right now. He's bullish. I mean, he drew this consolidation flag for many years now, in fact, and once it breaks out of this long-term bull flag, it's going to be off to the races. I got this green line, which is mapped to that top point back in 2021 at $44. The prior top point was around the $80, but I think this is very reasonable for Riot to even break through the $20 zone in month of July or August. I mean, it's going to come very quick, and we're seeing the reversal on the relative strength right now. It's not overbought. It's trending slowly, consistently up 64. MACD, we're seeing the green histograms. That's a good thing. And it's only a matter of time until we break out. Let's say once we get above 1350, we're going to be breaking out of this bull flag. And there you go. This long-term consolidation is going to be broken. And we're going to have Riot platforms fly up to new price discoveries. Will it ramp up similar to what we saw in the last cycle when RSI was 91? Only time will tell. But look at how this thing ran from like $2 to like $80. I mean, from like October to February, just with those big candles. So anything is possible. It's all about the market make. Let's take a look at CleanSpark. So beautiful chart we're seeing. I mean, just look at this beautiful bull flag. This long consolidation period when CleanSpark went from like, $3 to like 20, $24. It 8x within a matter of weeks. And we heard a lot about CleanSpark during that time. And since early 2024 last year, once it got up to 2024, we started just hearing a lot about CleanSpark, a lot of hate with, lower lows, consolidation. But what's happening? We're seeing a breakout of this bull flag. Now we're seeing it ascend up. What goes down fast like that will eventually pop back up. We're also seeing that driven from increase in the relative strength, the MACD reversal intersection. Key thing is we broke out of this, bull flag. And I think that in the month of, July, August, I think that we're gonna very well soon see CleanSpark break into that $22 range. And if this starts flying up, let's say if Mara Riot shoots up, CleanSpark is gonna go hand in hand as well. I mean, these big three miners, they're heavily correlated because they have big HODL stacks. And with Bitcoin price in new discovery territory, this puppy can just send it to new levels. One thing I want to point out is just seasonality. So seasonality, we talked about this. I had videos of this, even last year, where seasonality is real when it comes to the miners. So look at what happened. Let's use Riot, for example, but this plays out for like Mara and CleanSpark as well. 2022 was a big bloodbath, 85% drop. Doesn't matter if you have like 1,000% gain. 85% drop is basically you got wiped out. But then what happened the following year? We had an inverse performance, 359%. What happened after 2023, however, with that outperforming year? Seasonality kicked in. 2024, minus 33%. So I even forecasted last year that, as we head into 2025, we're going to have the blue, which is what we see now, be somewhere in between the green 2021 and the 2023. Or we may even get into the zone of in between the red and the magenta, or you never know, which I think is possible, but not likely. What if the blue goes above the red in terms of performance for end of year? So this just shows, 2021 it was positive, 2022 it was negative, 2023 positive, 2024 negative, 2025 is expected to be positive. So a lot of you are wondering, why is it that, invest into miners? Well, it really just depends on your strategy when you apply seasonality. But when it comes to companies like, strategy and Bitcoin, those are like the long-term plays that really add value because over time they continue to go up. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this episode where I covered Bitcoin. We talked about strategy. We also covered, technical analysis of Bitcoin, MSTR, Mara, Riot, CleanSpark. Also talked about seasonality. Now, if you're new to this channel, I'm thrilled that you're here. I would really appreciate your support by hitting the like, subscribing, Thanks again. I'll talk to you on the next one. Bye bye.